Why can't your paycheck keep up with rising prices? The answer is simple. Since 1973, real wages have been nearly frozen. Nominal wages have increased roughly sevenfold, but prices have also increased roughly sevenfold. Your purchasing power is virtually unchanged from 50 years ago. Why does this matter? This slide explains everything. In 1973, the average hourly wage for production and non-supervisory workers was roughly $4.10. By 2023, it reached around $29. Nominally, that's about 7 times higher. But the Consumer Price Index also increased roughly sevenfold. Housing, education, and healthcare costs rose even faster. Real wages remain nearly flat. Workers' purchasing power has barely improved in 50 years. Your paycheck appears to be growing, but that's an illusion. However, there are recent signs of change. Since late 2023, as inflation slowed, real wages have begun to recover slightly. But we're still far from recovering 50 years of stagnation. This is a fact proven by 5 decades of labor statistics, not speculation. This is the reality you can verify in U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics data. And this is understandable. Look at the graph. Follow the numbers. Now you can understand the truth about wage stagnation. Today, let me show you that data. You're working more efficiently than before, but you're not being compensated for it. According to Economic Policy Institute analysis, over the 50 years from 1973 to 2023, labor productivity increased 77%. The output of your work has definitely increased, but the typical worker's real wage growth was only 12%. That's a 65-point gap. Where did this difference go? There are multiple factors. Declining labor share of income, widening wage inequality, differences between wages and total compensation, including benefits, differences in price indices, and income transfers to capital. Corporate profits surged, dividends to shareholders and stock buybacks expanded, and workers' share barely increased. Before 1973, productivity and wages moved together. The value you created came back to you. But after that point, this connection completely broke down. The economic pie got larger, but your slice got smaller. Labor share of income. This is the proportion of national income that goes to workers. In 1973, this figure was roughly 65%. In 2023, it hovers between 56% and 60%, a drop of about 7 percentage points. Does that seem like a small number? But this represents hundreds of billions of dollars in annual income transfers. Where did these 7 percentage points go? Shareholder dividends, stock buybacks, corporate retained earnings. Capital share increased, labor share decreased. This is the structural shift of the past 50 years. Your wages are competing globally. Since the 1990s, globalization accelerated. China, India, Southeast Asia. Cheap labor entered the global market. According to WTO statistics, China's share of global merchandise exports expanded significantly from the 1990s. U.S. manufacturing employment declined substantially from 1990 to 2020 in BLS statistics. Companies say, "We can't raise wages. We have the option to move to China." Workers lost bargaining power. This is the wage pressure that globalization brought. Your paycheck disappears into housing. In 1980, housing prices were roughly 3 times annual income nationwide. By 2023, the national average exceeded 5 times, and in major cities, it reaches 10 times. Particularly for renter households and low to middle income groups, many households pay over 30% of annual income on housing. In the 1980s, this figure was around 15% to 20%. Housing cost burden has increased significantly. Even when wages rise, housing cost increases outpace them. Your disposable income is effectively squeezed. This is the reality of soaring housing costs. Technology has advanced, but your wages haven't risen. Automation, robotics, and AI. These improve productivity, but they simultaneously reduce employment. According to International Federation of Robotics data, robot density has steadily increased. But manufacturing employment shows a declining trend in BLS statistics. Medium-skilled workers took the hardest hit. Companies consider your job replaceable by machines. This replaceability reduces your bargaining power. Furthermore, with the emergence of generative AI, even intellectual and creative jobs once thought safe now face the wave of automation. Technological progress has weakened workers' position. This is the paradox of technological innovation. These factors don't exist independently. They reinforce each other. Real wage stagnation prevents improvement in purchasing power. The productivity wage gap creates income transfers to capital through declining labor share and other mechanisms. Declining labor share causes hundreds of billions of dollars in annual worker income loss. Globalization reduces manufacturing employment and bargaining power. Housing costs rise from 3 times annual income to over 5 times nationally, reaching 10 times in major cities, squeezing disposable income. Technological innovation increases job replaceability and weakens workers' position. These operate in a chain reaction, structurally eroding the middle class. By Pew Research Center's definition, in 1971, the middle class comprised 61% of the population. By 2021, this figure dropped to 50%. The middle class is shrinking. Now let's organize today's analysis. Here's the summary. First, real wage stagnation. Nominal wages increased roughly 7-fold since 1973, but prices also increased 7-fold, leaving real wages nearly stagnant for 50 years. Rising housing, education, and healthcare costs continue to squeeze disposable income. However, with slowing inflation, slight signs of recovery have appeared since late 2023. Second, the productivity wage gap and declining labor share. Productivity improved 77%, but wage growth was only 12%, with a 65-point difference transferred to capital through declining labor share and other mechanisms. Labor share declined roughly 7 percentage points from 65% to around 58%, transferring hundreds of billions of dollars annually from workers. Shareholder returns include not just dividends but also significant expansion in stock buybacks. Third, structural pressures. Globalization reduced manufacturing employment and weakened workers' bargaining power. Housing costs rose from 3 times annual income to over 5 times nationally, reaching 10 times in major cities. Technological innovation improves productivity while increasing job replaceability, and the middle class declined from 61% to 50% of the population. If you were a policymaker, what solutions would you propose in the face of this structural inequality? The numbers reveal a systemic shift. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for joining me on this analysis. This channel analyzes global events from an economic and structural perspective. Not through emotions, but through numbers. Not through opinions, but through mechanisms, deepening your economic understanding. Subscribe to the channel, and let's explore economic truth together next time. Turn on notifications, and with each new analysis, your economic perspective rises another level. I'll see you in the next deep dive.